Welcome back to Downtime Activities, Session 2 of our new Savage Worlds game. And same cast of characters here. Last we left, I believe we had two individuals on their way to investigate the landing zone of a recent large spooky silhouette.
It makes it sound like it's crop circles or something.
We're not to that part of the campaign. Aliens aren't that gothic horror-y, but we'll find a way.
Depends on how you do the alien.
That's true. Vampire.
What
happens if a vampire bites an alien?
for
Do aliens have
canine
blood?
hepatitis, so
Aliens.
anything's possible.
Yeah, exactly. Canine hepatitis is out and about. Gotta be prepared.
Aliens, but with gothic architecture and...
Oh, it's just Bloodborne.
Or the necromongers.
Oh God! Boo!
Oh, God.
Your character time. what are the necromongers? A good way to ruin a good series. That's what they are.
The worst part of a good series.
They're
And
why you
just
don't
like
let
that,
the
this
90s and
campaign
early
is over.
2000s touch your sci-fi.
Does this count as wilderness enough for me to get a tracking bonus for woodsman, or are we gonna have to be farther out?
You know what? I'm gonna say that for the sake of this, I'll give it to you because Raskatoon is basically wilderness. I'll let you use it. Sure.
Okay, I just wanted to know how you were going to.
Yeah, if you guys would, if you both can, if you'd like to, make survival checks if you're trying to look for tracks. Which I assume is a
They
skill.
actually have survival.
8 explodes.
Yeah.
They got me beat.
That is a 12.
12. 4. You found where this thing landed. It feels pretty stirred up. It's hard to really get a good look at it. You see like there's a lot of like kind of crossing tracks and stuff like that. This seems a decently frequented walking path, but it did land kind of in a sandy area. You're like, you can see what looks like bigger footprints, but you can't really tell. You can tell this is pretty large feet, and they seem somewhere between... Well, this isn't little. Hopefully, this isn't too on the nose. Somewhere between like humanoid in size, but like big. But they're very much canine feet. Seem very canine.
They're very much like clawed paws.
They are clawed paws, and it seems like, and with an 11, you can tell this thing like it kind of landed and then started moving. Probably, it looks like with 3 limbs. Like it looks like one landed and then the 2 back kind of caught up, like it was running. Like on all
With
fours,
something
but what
tucked
something
under
was tucked
one.
under one arm. Yeah, and you can tell by the strides. Again, 11, big roll. The strides. This thing's easily close to 7 feet tall. Like how long this thing's around, doing long strides.
I mean, I'll definitely repeat. Like I'll point out to the sheriff, like it's obviously canine or something like it, but it's really big, running on 3 paws, like it was holding something, and with strides like this, probably close to 7 feet tall.
Well, that's a hell of a raccoon. Well, can you follow it?
At least a ways.
Alright, we'll try a ways.
All right, you guys kind of start moving that away, and Edmund, you can't help but like this. The kind of shape and look of this feels a little familiar to you.
Great.
Moving along, you guys kind of start heading to this. You see, it kind of hops up, and you get up to the creek where it stops, and then like up and over the creek. It seems to continue. And if you want to follow, are you gonna like I assume go around to the bridge that goes over the small creek that goes through town here?
How deep of a creek is it?
You could walk across these.
I'll just ford it.
It's pretty shallow. Yeah, it wouldn't make it past your boots. Probably.
No, yeah, I'll just ride across it.
It's a creek, not a crick.
And I do wanna ride with my like Sharp's buffalo rifle, like in my lap, just in case
After seeing hearing the size of that thing, I will carry my rifle unslung as well.
All right. You guys are riding then on horseback, I assume. Yep. So you go across this, move up, and then you're able to. I will make you roll new checks. You're able to follow these tracks a decent ways, and they go out past what looks like a large ranch that's kind of on the other end of this, and around the side of it, and out towards wilderness, out towards like mountainous area. Raskatoon itself is kind of surrounded by low, rocky mountains. It has like kind of one road and the one canyonway inside. There's probably other kind of narrow causeways, but those are the two main ones you've seen.
Well, how did the Rocky Mountains get in New Mexico?
They're,
Well, technically, so it's
this is
southern
northern
branches of the Rocky Mountains bleed into northern Mexico.
These are mountains that are rocky. Maybe you could consider them part of the Rocky Mountains. That's your business.
I ain't a geographer or geologist, so.
Yeah. If you're wanting to continue to follow them, you think you could, but you'd be getting out. You'd start be getting out into the wilds to do that at this point.
So what you're saying but not saying is, if we want to bring anybody else along, now's probably the time to do it.
If you're wanting to go on a hunt for whatever the saying is, it'll be just the two of you doing it, right?
Well, this thing's pretty big. Why don't we go see if we can rustle up some?
It's your town, Sheriff.
I guess it is. Yeah, we'll head back into town and I'll see if I can't rustle up some interest in...
You do also that the mayor's expecting to see at noon, and this
that's true.
excursion, I mean, it's early morning right now. Unless you're kind of short in and out of there, you probably won't have enough time to make it back by then.
Yeah, that's true. Right, I have a noon meeting. I've totally forgotten. Yeah, so I'll head back into town and I'll talk to...
Well, I
keep
guess a
forgetting your name.
thunderstorm. Unless a thunderstorm comes up, I should be able to find these tracks again. So I guess I'll head back into town with the sheriff.
Okay.
Yep, and I'll talk to
He's got a
Jeffers
badge and
and see if
everything.
he wants to come. And we'll see if Teak has any recommendations on who else we could bring. And talk to the sheriff at noon, and then make an expedition.
All right. Hey, Professor, where are you headed? Last we saw you'd gotten invited to church and said that you'd rather not, so where are you at?
I'm back in the barn. I'm tinkering away again with my gadgets. I'm hoping to make some good progress on this here weapon I'm working on.
What is the kind of nature of the weapon? What does it fire? What does it do?
Well, it's a little hard to explain. Basically, it fires a projectile. I would fire a projectile into the ground, and it would create a vine-like substance that could entangle pretty much anything that I'm thinking of at the moment in time.
Okay. Kind of wrap them up. Kind of like a kind of a net gun, but one that springs out and wraps and entwines people.
Yeah, but it comes from the ground.
Okay.
So that is the nature of the gun. Don't want to give too many details about it.
Of course not. You're kind of working on this, and as you've been tinkering away, and you're like, you kind of have it loaded up, and you feel like it's probably pretty close to being ready to use. You think you're going to be able to figure it out soon, and it accidentally kind of misfires. So you're kind of like twisting it one way, and some part of the mechanism gets flicked, and all of a sudden it shoots that shot. But instead of towards the ground as you intended it shoots it at the roof of the barn you're in. And as the two of you start riding back into town, you get to the road and you see the barn kind of on the side of this this establishment. I guess what you know as, or what you don't necessarily know, Ed, as a inn, but you do, Corporal. You see the barn on the side of the inn has this kind of like thump, like breaking of the roof of it, and then some sort of like tentacly, wiry looking mechanism like twists and grabs at nothing, and then kind of slides back through the hole it just made, and you hear like it chunk as it hits the ground on the inside.
Well, God damn it!
You hear from inside the barn.
That is not what I was hoping for.
Morning, Professor.
That kind of thing happen often around here?
Hell if I know.
I'm still just kind of focusing on the gun here.
He doesn't hear you when you say morning, Professor.
I'll walk in and try to flag your attention.
Oh, it's the youngin. How you doing on this fine morning?
Doing all right. Not planning on blowing up this barn, I hope.
Oh, no. It's just a little bit of an accident, a little bit of a happy accident, progress being made, you know.
Would that gizmo be able to stop a bear, for instance?
If I can have a few more hours to tinker with it, I don't see why not.
Well, I'd appreciate
But
it.
if you don't mind me asking, why on earth are you trying to track down a bear? And especially in these parts.
Well, something big and hairy punched up the general store and ran off with some food. Best I can say, it's some kind of bear.
Oh, you
More like a
mean
wolf,
the
probably.
you mean the tall feller that had a charging start and just broke the deadbolt off the door.
Well, unless he's wearing claws on his feet and running on all fours, he must be a pretty weird feller.
I mean, claws. You live in the wilderness for a period of extended amount of time without any civilization. You start to adapt to your surroundings. If anything, he's probably just a boy who got lost very young and just survived in the wild. So his claws are his nails, and he probably just learned to run on all fours by watching animals he's seen.
Well, that's an interesting theory, Professor. Would you care to put some evidence behind it?
Well, we take the door for instance.
Oh no, I mean, would you like to come with us on our hunt of it?
Would I like to come with you on a hunt?
Yes, I think your gizmo here would be an asset.
I don't see why not. I'll tag along with you.
Well, I appreciate it. We have a few more
Yeah.
things to take care of this morning, but we'll...
Oh, and who's this mysterious figure here with you?
Ed Parnell. Suppose it's
Who?
Ed Parnell.
Ed Parnell?
Yes, sir.
That ain't a name for a young lady, miss. But nice to meet your acquaintance. I am Professor Bogus. You can just call me Professor.
I'll probably do that.
Okay, so I hear loud noises coming from the area of my shop.
You almost made it to you know that church doesn't start first thing in the morning, so you could definitely still be out and about here. That
Well, would this possibly be after?
no, this is still them. They didn't make it very far outside the town or anything. First thing, there's like a morning service, but if you went straight there first light, you'd be a little late because they give a little bit of time for people on the more outskirt houses to get in. You probably got half an hour before church starts.
Yeah, alright.
Cool. Yeah, if you hear that and want to come running, you can definitely do so.
Yeah, I do.
You see
What in tarnation?
You see what the scene is before you.
Well, fellers, heard a rustle from around here. Was worried that my shop got broke in again.
Oh no, I'm sorry there, Mr. Jeffersons.
Well, it's different to you,
I
but
was here
that's all right.
working on my little gizmo here, and just a little bit of a happy accident is what I'll call it here.
Well, Lord has forgiveness for all of us, I assume.
I sure hope.
I sure hope.
Y'all's sake.
I kind of mutter under my breath, hogwash.
Do I know?
I mean, we ran into each other, but we didn't.
We know of each other.
You've seen her once before.
We have not been
Oh, so we don't.
introduced.
Well, who are you, fine lady? Name's Jeffers.
Ed Parnell.
Wow, that's not a name for a young lady.
So I keep being told. It's short for Edmunda.
Well,
That's unfortunate.
well, whatever the Lord names you, whatever the Lord names
Here.
Suppose I can't disagree.
In a small house or a casita just outside of town, you are abruptly woken up by your mother, Grimes,
Classic.
saying, "Wake up! Wake up!" shaking you awake. You have the hangover from the night before. It's a little blurry as your eyes open, and she says, "Hi, Grimes. We have to get to church on time. I will not be late again because of you."
Mom, okay, I'm gonna tell you this 1,000 times, okay? I will not go to church with you.
You're coming to church with me.
Okay.
I don't care if you don't care about your soul, because I care about your soul. You're coming to church.
I don't care if you don't care.
God damn it.
Do not use the Lord's name in vain. Your salvation, Grimes.
Okay. Okay.
And leaving the small house?
Yeah.
Continue?
With a small whiskey bottle in.
Smuggle it along with you.
You got your flask.
Lord's blood right here.
All the
Barrel aged.
all the prayers I need. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Some small benedictions throughout the day.
That's correct. It's been an addiction for quite a while.
Boo!
You just don't. Why are you booing? I'm right. What are the lot of you? You're on your way to church with your mother. The rest of you.
I suppose since it's early enough, I'll just hitch my horse in front of the sheriff's office and go to church.
Okay, heading to church. Jeffrey's, I assume, is heading to church. I assume Professor Bogus is going to continue working on his gizmo. Sheriff,
Yeah,
how about yourself?
pretty much, but as they're all walking away, I just kind of mutter under my breath, brainwash charlatans believing in the goddamn focus.
Yeah. I didn't know the professor was on Reddit.
The professor is ready. Where's the corporal going to be at this time?
I guess I'll go to church. It seems like the thing to do.
All right.
The popular opinion.
You gotta fit in with the townsfolk.
I definitely sit in a back pew by the door.
Okay.
You never know when you need to leave in an emergency. Like you get lit on holy fire. Your feet start tingling.
I just had a bad experience in a church once. Prefer to sit by the door.
Where is everybody sitting? I assume that old Grimes is sitting with his mom.
Yes, and she wants to sit in the front.
Of course she does.
Because your mom always wants to sit in the front.
Of course she does. The rest of you?
Oh yeah, definitely back pew by the door.
When I walk in, I definitely notice you. I'm just like,
Oh,
Another new person.
that's why.
I'm like, do I need to threaten you too?
Jeffers is a modest, 3 pews.
He's got a regular spot.
Close enough he gets full credit, but not so close that he's trying to draw attention to himself.
That is not
Is
what's
that
in his
you
mind.
sitting in the front row, Jeffress? The
Just
voice
as
of
good.
God spoke.
He's in the most modest place he could possibly be. In church.
In church, of course.
Most unnoticeable place.
The individual that some of you, those from around here, would know on outside there's a sign that says St. Ambrose's Church out front. And for those of you who are from around these here parts, you would know the father, Herman Maynard, comes up to the front. That's for you. He's up front, and it's kind of your classic sort of service. I'm not going to do an hour-long
You
church
didn't have a
service.
sermon.
I didn't prepare a sermon, but a lot of it is like
Obviously, you're horrible. Anyway.
but it's very much the story of hope and just keep the toughest battles are given to God's strongest soldiers, and we've got to hold together for the people of this town, and this is the work of the enemy. You can't give in to the enemy's ways, and all that kind of very classic. It's not as bad as you think it is. The Lord's with us. We will prevail.
I quietly mutter on my breath. I think it's probably a lot worse than you think it is. I guess because we're both sitting in the back row. Are we on opposite? Because I assume it's like the 2 rows of pews.
Yes, it's exactly
with the aisle down the middle. Are we sitting on opposite sides? Or
I'll
are
sit
we-
next to you.
So you're probably the only person who hears me mutter that.
And you see a number of other people. There's a decent number of people inside of here from around the town. I'm not going to describe all of them. If you'd like me to start going down the list, I'd be happy to.
We don't care about the schmucko townsfolk.
That's right. That's a good sheriff. Doesn't care about his people.
Erickson, if you introduce me to too many NPCs, then I'll become overly attached to some of them, and then they'll suffer
we get them
horrible
killed.
fates. Yeah.
You,
It'll be my
as far
fault.
as
It'll
people
feel
you've
terrible.
met and know, Bell is here. I guess none of you met and know Bell, so don't disregard that. Roach, the fella on the piano, he is here. He is sitting in the second row because all the front row spots were taken when he got here. You think he probably would have sat in the front row if he could. And I think that's all for people you've met. I'm not, you know everybody. You're from this town. But,
Somebody should buy this church organ, and then Roach can.
Roach, there is no organ in this.
Roach can play In the Garden of Eden.
Wait a minute. This sounds like rock and or roll.
The devil's music.
That's a Simpsons reference from before we were born.
Not quite. Didn't The Simpsons start in like 96?
Nope, 89.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I
Old
should have let
Simpsons
somebody comment
was-
that one.
was-
Yeah. Simpsons fans
And that-
crucify this one.
And that person might have
Changing the
been,
list.
should have been me.
It's he's gonna leave a review.
Get that loser out.
Unsubscribed. He doesn't know when Simpsons start. But yeah, it's a fairly hope-filled sermon, and at the end of it, it's over.
There you go. That's generally how church goes.
That's certainly
You're
how-
there and then you're not.
You're there, and then it's over. Then you go to a local Mexican restaurant and get lunch.
There you go.
If you're me growing up, at least. That's what you do.
Look at Mr. Hoity-Toity going out for lunch. We'd make sandwiches at home.
You had a home?
Joke's on you. I lived in the basement of that Mexican restaurant.
So,
You mean to tell me
church is
you
over.
guys have
Church
food
is-
for sandwiches?
Church is over, which usually your mom doesn't make you do anything else after church. She always makes you go.
Yeah.
Mutter a quick amen and be the first person out the door.
Okay?
Who's the prettiest skirt in here?
The prettiest skirt in here. Probably not Ed. No offense. Ed's a little
None.
boyish for your
Yeah.
type, probably. Isabel's a pretty lady. She runs
If I'm not
village-
wearing my eye patch, I get
I mean-
a minus to my charisma.
The person who's
Question,
probably
are
the
they-
most naturally attractive female person here is she's a little bit younger and takes good care of herself. Isabel Gilliam, Gilliam's Room and Board, which you've tried barking up that tree a lot of times and got shut down. There is one other person which you would know is Lois Doll of Dollhouse clothing store in town, and she's certainly the person trying the hardest to look good in here. She's got a very for a town that is the town equivalent of what a tumbleweed is. She is wearing far too nice of a dress and has far too nice of hair and far too done up of makeup for those people who are around her. But that's always how Lois is. She always wants to present herself very well because that's the kind of establishment she runs.
I feel like Lois is a little too high and mighty for me. I probably won't pursue that. But I do take note.
Okay.
You womanizer.
I go and mingle with Deep Finger's mom. Nah. But
what's her name?
Is
Gabriella.
Gabriella Garcia. You know that Gabby, she is a God-fearing woman. She is one of the pillars of this community when it comes to the local church. She's any sort of outreach work or any sort of donation, she's always the first person in line. She's a good person.
he's not
Not trying to schmooze.
He's not trying to smooth.
Yeah.
She's just genuinely well, how's your boy doing, Gabriel?
We're like, the troubled boy's got too much of his father in him, but I think that the church is really helping. I think that we'll have a breakthrough soon. The Lord will bring new light to his life.
Well, that's what happened to me. Just light switched on, and I knew the Lord.
Amen.
And I noticed
Is it question, are they is everybody
do
out
that
of the
'cause-
church or are they mingling
know.
within the church?
Sorry, what was that, Jerry?
Is everybody kind of mingling outside of the church or are they all in the church?
Some in and out. The doors open up and people are kind of in and out.
Okay.
mingling.
First, follow-up question. where is it Tall Fingers?
It's not short fingers.
It's Grimes.
Where's
Grimes.
Long Fingers? Are you outside of the church?
No, I'm about to shoulder check Jeffers over here.
Okay. I'm waiting for people to leave the church, mainly the people who I know and I'm interested in speaking with.
Turns out the lady you just met is the first person out the door. Led Parnell.
Oh, little Miss Ed, whose name isn't very ladylike. How was church?
Boy.
Fine as always.
You and the sheriff would be happy to know I've made progress on my little gadget here. Before we go out and go hunt this wild child, I do need some help testing the gadget.
You're not shooting me with that thing.
Well, I'm not gonna shoot. Okay, fair.
Thought about it.
I wasn't gonna. What I was gonna. Never mind. I think that's the sheriff's business.
And almost like clockwork, I assume that's about when the sheriff walks out.
Yep.
Ah, sheriff.
Professor?
Well, as I was telling the young lady here, I've made progress on my gizmo, or my gadget. But before we go out into the field with this, I need to run a quick test.
And what exactly did you have in mind?
Well, I need a target to fire a test shot at.
Mm-hmm.
You've seen what it can do to a roof. I need to make sure that this won't immediately kill the wild child.
Right. Well, I assume we can set up some kind of target for you.
Okay, I very much appreciate it.
I'll go and find some, like a chair, like out of the sheriff's office. The sheriff's office.
The
Sheriff's
sheriff's
office.
office.
I'll go find a
As
sheriff.
you're kind of like
Sheriff's
agreeing to this, the coming through the door behind and like, Sheriff, one moment, please. You turn to see old Father Maynard walking out of St. Ambrose's. He kind of walks up to you and he says, "So I just wanted to make your acquaintance, Herman Maynard, Father Herman. You can call me Father." He shakes your hand.
Nice to meet you, Father.
I just wanted to welcome you to town and tell you how appreciative we all are to have a ranger out here to solve these problems. I believe that the Lord will work through you and fix all of this mess.
Well, I certainly
That hocus pocus again.
There's kind of like a side eye that's kind of like a little angry, and then kind of like a snap to like a peace be with you, peace be with you. He's like, now.
Oh,
He says,
did I say that? Did I say that out loud? I do.
You said the quiet part out loud again, Professor.
I understand somebody who has different beliefs than myself. I hope that the Lord does open your eyes in the future and give you the hope that we all have and the forgiveness.
The Lord ain't opened my eyes to shit. It's the eyes of science.
Well, I hope it happens for you soon. But Sheriff, one other thing. I just wanted to give this to you. And he hands you like a little square of paper. It's kind of folded up, and he hands it to you. He says, it's not much. It's a prayer cloth that we've blessed and would like to have you carry with you, hoping that it might help you just remember that the Lord is with you on this most important.
Well, ain't that spiffy. Thank you, Father.
Of course. Best of luck to you.
That'd make nice. That'd
God
make
be
nice
with you all.
kindle for a fire.
I think that'd probably be a bad idea.
God be with all of you. He says very pointedly at the professor, but for all to hear, and then turns and heads back to the church, into the church. Kind of as he's walking in, someone else like walks in. Oh, thank you for coming.
It's the classic end of church. The pastor stands there and shakes everybody's
Shakes
hand
it
on the
up.
way out.
That's why you sit in the back and get out first.
It's true. Okay, well, we'll get the little posse together.
You haven't talked to Jeffrey yet, that you said you were.
Jeffrey.
Oh,
Oh, right.
he's busy getting his
Yeah.
shoulder checked by me, threatening him.
You kind of walk in and
Yeah.
how exactly does this go? So you're talking to Gabriella, and then coming in old Deep Fingers. What do you do?
Once my mom turns away, I don't want her to see this. I'm going to kind of shoulder check Mr. Jeffers here and tell him, you best watch yourself.
Can I do an agility?
Oh, you get
Shoulder
opposed
check?
athletics?
It's not something that it's not gonna like. You don't see him coming, so it's kind of like you
Oh,
get
I
bumped.
get it.
If you want to like stand firm against it, I'll have you guys do some opposed rolls if you'd like to.
Yeah,
Sure.
let's do that. Let's see.
PvP.
Let's have you both roll a. We'll call it strength. Just a good old strength. Well, no, this is more of a like how brawny you are.
Fair
There's not really a strength
So-
skill for that, I don't think.
You'll be a D4. And D6. Right?
You get the. Do you have
Wild card.
So it's
Six
just
explodes.
yeah. So it's just straight strength.
just straight strength?
Yep.
Alright.
Both of those explode.
So you get to roll them both again, whichever's higher.
You roll both of them.
It's still not going to be easy to beat her.
You just have to like.
You just
I'm
have
at
to
11.
11. Okay. And they
So,
roll-
yeah.
6 explodes again.
You're gonna dislocate your shoulder.
17.
17. So you come
With
up with
a
like a hard check into him, and it's like a brick wall. Like he doesn't budge.
With a strength of a D4.
Same. We have two noodle arms over here just fucking flailing at each other.
That's fine. I also have a strength of D4 or something.
Where? Oh, excuse me, Mr. So what's the actual last name?
Garcia.
Garcia. There. Oh, excuse me, there, Mr. Garcia. You know, you sure have grown into a moderate-sized young man.
Are you keeping tabs on me?
No, I just remember when I first moved here, and you were just
You have a grasshopper.
At 15.
15. You're just growing into the real ambitious young man that you are today.
I like to see I can move some pieces around, yes. Don't ever talk to my mom. And I'm gonna walk out.
So you walk in, Sheriff, to see Jeffers kind of get nudged and not move at all by the fella you were drinking with the night before, and then they have a brief exchange, and that fella turns and starts walking towards you in the doorway.
Give him a nod.
Give him a nod back.
I'm
I'm
you're
gonna
trouble.
wink.
You're trouble.
Friend of yours, Sheriff?
Give him a little.
Seems to be the only other individual you see carrying a gun.
Maybe
here.
more than friends, Sheriff?
Not exactly.
I'm just gonna
Mr. Jeffers.
tap my head to you and walk away.
Okay.
Feller?
Short fingers. Just the person I was looking for.
Hello, Professor. How are you doing?
I'm doing mighty well. I have a proposition for you.
What kind of proposition?
Well, it's one that will pay you $3 if you are willing to, you know, get a little dirty.
I might be able to take you up on that offer. What are we looking at here? What kind of job?
Well, we gotta wait for the sheriff and his and the lass that's with him. But we need let's just say I have a little test I need to run, and I think you would be perfect.
The one person that didn't see this thing go off. You're dastardly, Professor. You are.
And it's silver tongue to go with it. Silver tongue and
test?
bronze ears.
What kind of test?
I don't do math.
I hope it's not algebra.
No, it's no test of smarts. I wouldn't even try to test that kind of academics to you fine folks here. probably wouldn't be nothing you'd be interested in. But how I see it is you are about the right size and build of something we are about to go looking for.
I mean,
And I just need to test a gadget to make sure, for one, it works.
for $3.
You know what? I'll give you 4 if you are willing to help me with this.
Shoot, I mean, I've done worse before. Sure.
Well,
I'll
ain't
take that offer.
That's great.
Awesome.
Here, I'll even pay you up front. Here's your $4.
Oh, you pay up front.
Yes.
Oh, thank you kindly, Professor.
Walks off.
If there's one thing the professor is, he's an honest one.
Back to the sheriff walking in to Jeffers. Well, what is your conversation with him?
Well, Jeffers, we're forming up a bit of a posse to go after your missing foodstuffs. I appreciate an extra set of eyes.
Well, Sheriff, I suppose you accepted my proposition. I'll accept yours.
Well, that seems awfully fair of you. I have a meeting with the mayor at noon. We'll be leaving shortly thereafter.
All right.
There we go. All right. Party assembled.
Walking out,
It
you
took some
see
doing.
the professor and the young Garcia boy as the three of you walk out of the church together.
All right. Professor?
Hey there, youngin, as I'm gonna keep referring to you. I have acquired the assistance of Mr. Shortfingers here for our test. Now, I do say we are gonna want to get away from the town just in case there's a problem. So whenever you all are ready,
Well,
We
I
can
am
go-
meeting with the mayor, so why don't you and Mr. I didn't catch your name.
Do you really want it?
Well, Mr. Shortfingers, apparently.
Rhymes.
Well, this is Mr. Garcia. I've known him since he was just a boy.
Oh, Mr. Garcia. If you want to run your test, I have a meeting with the sheriff, or with the mayor. So if you want to handle that while I'm having my meeting with the mayor, that might be ideal.
I didn't hear a single word you said, but I'm just going to assume you said okay to whatever I said.
Well, that's fine. Was I breaking up there, Jerry, or was it you just in character?
No,
No, it's not.
Okay. I gotta make sure. I'm just like,
I was in character.
Both. He's using it too. This kid.
He's
Yeah.
just staring blankly at you the whole time you're talking.
Crazy old man. All right.
I heard that.
Of course he did.
Of course you did. Yep, I'll head over towards the mayor's house. I assume it's getting close to a time that would be relevant for that. Do they have a clock tower? Like,
They do not have
yeah,
a clock.
so it's like
You
noon
got
is
a pocket watch?
Do I have a pocket watch?
I do not.
We all might take note. Jerry might kill me. Just FYI.
I got a watch.
Session alarm. What's that?
You can also just look up at the sun.
Yeah, it's a guesstimation. Yeah, so
I have a watch.
I don't have a watch.
I have a
I am
watch.
general store.
The professor has a watch if y'all need that.
Well, that's fine. I'm just more guesstimating what midday is, and I figure after church is about midday.
You're about to midday, you think now. So the whole posse of you, there's a whole posse of you going to the mayor's house,
Well, I'm going to the mayor's house.
and the rest of them are going to test out this gadget.
I don't know if I want to watch the gadget get tested out or if I want to. I'll watch the gadget.
Let's start with the gadget getting
crimes
tested
through
out.
the leg.
I'd go along
You
to
know
the
you
mayor's
want
house
to
if I was
notice.
like actually a deputy, but I'm gonna stand way back and see what happens with this here contraption.
Let's see what happens with this here contraption. So, Professor, what do you do?
Okay, so before I test this, I call who is with me. Actually, who's with me at the moment? This is out of character.
Everybody but Maddie G. So you got Ed, you've got Jeffries, and you got Grimes.
I thought I went with.
Okay.
No, I went with.
Oh, did you go with him to the mayor?
I went with them to the mayor.
You don't have Jeffries. You got Ed, you got Grimes.
So I call it. I pretty much get everybody around me just so I can explain what's about to happen. I show them the gun. I show them the gadget. The gadget is pretty much the best way I could explain it is like a modified revolver with a couple knobs, with some carvings to indicate different levels, quote unquote, of power. Now, Mr. Short Long Fingers, what I need you to do is I need you to go about 15 paces in front of me. Do you know what a pace is?
Professor, I know what a pace is.
Okay, I actually didn't hear that one. That was me. This is me being real. I didn't hear what you answered.
Yes. Professor, is this gonna hurt?
No. Not most likely.
No.
I can assure you, you will not die. I can assure that one.
Well,
That was the question. Is this gonna hurt? I promise you won't die.
Lots of confidence being built out here today.
So you go 15 paces in front of me. I'm gonna take this little cartridge here, and I show them the cartridge. It's kind of green looking. Doesn't look like your average bullet. And I'm gonna fire it into the ground. Now, if this works the way I think it's gonna work, the way the earlier misfire happened, how that worked, you were just gonna get entangled in a vine.
that's not too
You
bad.
should be fine.
That's not too bad. I guess. I
Okay.
guess that's fine.
All right.
I'm standing
do
way
it.
back.
Smart plan. So,
Do I?
15 paces away, and you're using your gizmo on her? On him?
Yep.
Excuse me.
Now since this is a power, technically, but for the sake of the campaign, it's a gadget.
Yep.
It's bad science.
It's mad science. How would I roll for this? Or are you just gonna?
It'll be the same rules as the power.
So. Okay. Give me a second here, because I don't think this one had dice attached to it.
It's usually like a roll to succeed when you're like using
Okay.
a power.
So since it on this it says range smarts, would I just do a smarts roll?
I would think so. I don't know exactly what this
Yeah, you can.
I believe mad science, you use smarts as your roll.
Yeah. I know. With some stuff, it's like whatever your power is like a skill.
Well, that's superpower. It's like it's its own skill. But with other stuff, it's different.
I don't remember exactly.
That's
You can have them just do a smart
This
roll, or we can
this
look up.
power is in the Deadlands core rulebook.
Yeah, it's not so much the specific power as it is the casting. So like we're just looking up how mad science works.
Would cast.
Mhm. This is worth making sure we know.
Yep.
Let's take a moment and do it here.
Hey, small pee-pee club.
I had the D12 in my hands. I had to do it.
Modest. Modest.
Damn, you got a long day.
It's a classic.
What is it?
D12.
D12. Jerry,
Yeah.
roll a D12.
A D12.
Yeah.
Just one.
Just
Yeah.
the one.
Will it explode or no?
No, just roll it.
Okay.
That'd be fun.
A 5.
A 5?
There you go.
Pretty modest.
I don't think Jerry's been in one of our games where
D12
we haven't discussed that one on camera. This will be.
Let's-
We're cutting around this
Yeah,
anyway.
we'll let you allude to whatever you want with that. Or if it's this makes it. Retreat dire carson to works. Otherwise breaks and most spectacular. 260 good stuff. So, for the you will have 20 power points.
Oh.
Just like a resource you have to use. Most casters start with 10, but mad scientists get 20 because they can blow themselves up.
I misread that because I wrote that as a 15 on my sheet. So I'll give myself 5 more.
Did you take something to give yourself extra power points? Any of your edges or anything like that?
No. The only edge I have for my character is arcane background. And that's part of the weird science, or the mad scientist tree, or character.
It seems like, at least in the Adventure Edition rules, that getting an arcane background also essentially gives you a skill that you can then buy ranks in like any other skill.
Oh, okay.
So weird science has a weird science skill.
Okay. So we didn't really do that to your character creation, did we, Jerry?
I don't think so.
So let's really quickly kind of look at your skills and reassess how you spent points and give yourself some ranks in that so that you're not terrible at it.
Unless you want to just constantly explode.
A science skill? Is that?
Yeah,
It's called weird science.
Yeah, or mad science.
Or mad science.
I have a regular science skill.
Yeah, but there's like a mad science skill as well, that you get for choosing the mad science background.
We'll say you get your first rank in it for choosing that skill, so be it a D4.
Which I think is true.
I don't know if that's how it works.
That's I think it's a
That's how I'm ruling it. So if you want to we won't worry about stats and stuff here, but if you want to reduce some of your skills by a die type or 2 to increase your skill at mad science, you can do that now. So it's not a D4.
Okay.
And I can just edit this whole chunk.
Yeah, we'll take this chunk.
Agent of Chaos.
And what you gotta do is you gotta
Okay.
speed it up
Mix.
and then play the
Okay.
Technical
difficulties music over it.
How are you?
All right.
Are you
Sometimes
not-
I just play and I just do the black
reduced,
slides
I
with the
reduced the
text.
die type
Yeah,
and I
so
noticed
like
in
a-
my academics to
It's because it looks like you're a
To
little OCD.
go up 2 on
Yeah, you won.
to go up a die or 2 die type on my weird science skill.
Okay.
Okay.
So,
So-
it's a weird science is a D8.
Cool.
Alright. So now that we know that thing that we knew this whole time, and there's no cut that just happened here.
Yeah.
Somebody pass me the jar M&Ms.
You're going to use your weird science.
Okay.
And so it'll be the weird science die, your skill die in it, and your D6. Your wild die and your science die. Weird science die specifically. And let me know if it's a D8 for weird science, right?
Yeah.
If that D8 rolls a 1, let me know. But otherwise, it's just whether you're successful or not at using this ability depends on
So
you.
So this is a D8 and a D6.
Correct.
Okay. Yep. Here we go. Oops.
Are you gonna count down
Count that
for
up
me,
as a
Jared?
7 and
7. Okay.
yep.
So you get a 7. I assume. Did you have that power up in front of you?
Yes, I do.
Will you go ahead and
did.
tell? What does it say? I assume you just need to get a success of 4 to use this ability here.
Let's see here. Yeah, or because that would be the power points spent, right?
Yeah,
Or
you
is
spend
it
the power point to.
power points. Yeah. I just needed a 4 to
Okay.
successfully do it.
So you succeed. You spend. Is it just 1 power point to use this? I assume.
It's 2 power points.
Okay, so 2 of your power points expended. So you have 18 left. You have 20 total, and you are successful. So what does a success do?
The success or the arcane roll skilled. Success indicates partial restraint, so that the target suffers a -2 penalty to pace and skills linked to agility and strength.
Okay, so describe what this device looks like when it's used successfully.
So when it's used, when the device is used successfully, the bullet will travel. I have to fire this into the ground to successfully use it. But if it's successful, you will see little cracks within the earth form as the vine is moving towards its target. And upon success, a vine will sprout and wrap the legs of the target to restrain them temporarily.
This is what y'all see and or feel for some of you.
Neat.
Not good.
Doesn't feel good. Doesn't like break your legs or anything, but it wraps you up and ties you down.
Squealing.
Writhing around on the ground, squealing
I
like
kind
a
of thought he'd kill you. Or kill himself.
Well, I appreciate the faith you had in me, Lassie.
Is anyone want to help Grimes?
I'll use my Bowie knife.
Okay, so you guys kind of start carving the vines off of them and able to hug it up. Cut to the mayor's house, the mayor's estate.
You hear distant squealing.
Just squealing.
Oh, dear God.
The two of you walk up to the front door of the mayor's estate. I assume you knock. The same individual, this large hairy feller you saw before, answers the door. Good to see you again, Sheriff. Right this way. Follow me. And he kind of guides you into this. It's a pretty opulent compared to average around here. It's just a decently nice house. And he kind of walks you down a ways, around a corner and into kind of a sitting room. And you can see sitting there a fairly well-dressed individual who you assume to be Mayor Miles Tate.
Mayor Tate?
Ranger, Sheriff, I should say. Welcome, take a seat. And Jeffries, good to see you. Take a seat. Please, take a seat.
I'm investigating a robbery at Mr. Jeffrey's business. So
No doubt some of these natives coming to exact some more revenge, I'm sure.
revenge, you said. That's an interesting choice of words.
Well, I mean, it seems like they've got it out for this town for whatever reason. They seem to be targeting and specifically choking us out. I don't know what we did to irritate them, save build a town on land they see as their own, but we've operated more or less indifferent towards each other for a long while. Don't know what caused this sudden stir-up.
Anything unusual happen around the time this disturbance started?
Can't say that it did. The change kind of happened. There started to be more aggression there, and previous sheriff, old name that I have written down and will definitely remember, and not just buying myself time with all this talking when I'm, of course, going to just say Mac Peterson at the end of that. Old Sheriff Mac Peterson was looking into it. He went out into the hills around here trying to get to the bottom of it and hasn't been seen since.
By himself?
I believe so. He didn't seem to have a posse or anything with them. I believe he had spoke with some of the native folks before, having been the one to keep the peace around here and had a more or less agreeable relationship with them.
But something changed in the last couple months.
About that long, 3 months or so, is what the town's been dealing with this. People are about ready to uproot and leave Raskatoon if we don't get a food situation solved soon.
Well, we'll see what we can do. Any pertinent information I should know?
About the natives around here, be careful. They're deadly. Good with bows and arrows. Don't take kindly to people moving through what they see as their neck of the woods out here. Apart from that, I can't tell you.
Well, I appreciate it, Mayor.
We appreciate that you're here to stop this nonsense. Get things back on track.
I'll do the best I can. Well, if you will excuse Mr. Jeffries and I, we have a burglar to track down.
Best of luck to you.
Mild?
Jeffers. Do you leave your stay?
We're headed out.
Okay.
Unless Spears one arm wrestle or something, I don't know.
Do you challenge him?
Absolutely not.
He kind of like stands, he's been standing in the hallway kind of watching this all, and as you walk by, like he walks to the door, opens it, and just stands out of the way. It's still a fairly narrow hallway, and you have to kind of do like the turn and shuffle past a little uncomfortably. But yeah.
Okay, well, we'll head to the sound of swearing and
You move towards the sound of squealing to see a tangled up Deep Fingers getting cut free by Ed Parnell.
well, it
See,
seems
now
like
I told you to quit whining. It doesn't hurt that bad. It was a success. That was the low setting.
God damn it, Professor. This is the last time I'm going to trust you.
Even if I offer $4 more.
We'll see. We'll talk about it later.
Alright, posse. I assume do y'all have horses or some mode of transportation?
You?
I have a mule.
Well, I got George.
Alright.
Companion.
Well, mount up.
Is George a El Cheapo horse, or is he a good like a normal horse?
I can't remember.
It should be
How would I
I
know?
got yield,
Wherever
spanky.
you have, yeah, you probably should have written
I
that.
have the word horse. I have the word George next to the word horse.
And no bad things written next to that.
Horsey is nice too. Is El Cheapo. Spanky.
What was the
What is
Oh, he's a scaredy
Spanky?
cat.
Is he's a scary.
If I have $79 left, it's probably the El Cheapo one. That would be my guess.
You didn't buy much though.
Yeah, because you don't have to buy a gun or anything, because you don't have a gun. So
That's true.
I
What
wouldn't
is
be
it you
surprised
do
if you have a real one.
Why am I bringing you again?
Because it's
Extra
his
set of
shop, not
eyes.
us.
Extra set of eyes is what you keep
You
saying.
spotted that thing the other night.
It's
He
true.
does have some eagle
He
eyes.
does have some sharp eyes.
This group is short an eye, so extra set of eyes.
Need all eyes you
is
can
a
get.
better idea.
You're not wrong.
Your depth perception is rushed like not there. Not there.
Not a those.
I do like the idea that the ranger doesn't have an El Cheapo horse because he's government funded.
You might be right. It might not be. I might have actually spent most of my money
On a horse, yeah.
on horse.
And I think do you have an El Cheapo mule, Professor?
No.
Okay.
No. He's
It's
a
just a
regular
mule.
Yeah,
Okay,
because mules are.
they're cheap.
But me, I got matchstick.
Oh, well, if we got a mount
Small
up,
and stubborn
let
painted
me-
pony.
I mean, matchstick.
Matchstick.
I look at the
Old
group and I
spank.
just I replied to the youngin. Well, if we're gonna mount up, let me load up Sam with my things. As I proceed to put a match, nitro, and lantern oil in the saddlebag.
Okay, your things are all in those saddlebags.
that poor donkey.
Luckily, I'm riding in the front because I'm the tracker.
Alright, well,
This procession on Beast of Labor back, can't say horseback because they're not all horses, starts heading out of town. You guys are able to cross the bridge over the creek and get back onto the trail you were on previously and start heading into the wilderness out yon way. Moving along through it there. Go ahead and give me another survival check. See how well you can keep up with the track of this.
make this a Chapter.
I'm gonna. Whoever's taking the lead gets to do it.
You
Oh.
got the best track. So.
I do have a plus to it. That is a 7.
7. You find the trail and you're on it.
Can I make... Because I have a D6 in occult,
Mm-hmm.
can I make a roll based off of
Previous
what I can...
experience.
In previous experience, what I can tell from these... What I can tell from the tracks and, like, the descriptions, what this thing might be, or
Go
what
ahead,
we're
roll.
sort of getting into here.
Yeah. Go and roll, Nicole.
That's a 4.
4. This thing, at its very nature, by what it looks like, what it did, by description, by the footprints, seems very akin to what you've experienced previously, but not exactly the same. Looking at the footprints and stuff, it seems like maybe a slightly smaller build than what you saw before.
So, like, Coyote opposed to Wolf.
That'd be a good example. Yes.
Okay.
Do we all like is Ed, is she on the ground looking at these footprints, or is she still on her horse?
I assume she's leaning over either side,
Yeah.
taking a look at them, so you guys.
Yeah,
can
maybe stepping down on the saddle sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And you guys are on the trail, moving along. You follow along it for a ways, and then it kind of goes up into those like kind of rockier cliff sides. You're able to keep on it, moving into those, and then kind of carving along. It gets to a more narrow section of cliff, and then stops dead. You don't know. It stops there. You can give me another survival if you'd like, to try and pick it back up.
I would actually kind of rather do a no. Well, I'll probably do a survival because I'm better at survival. But I want like I'm especially looking for claw marks if it like jumped or climbed,
Okay, I'd count that as part of the survival check if you'd like to.
because we already know this thing can jump a long
Small
ways.
buildings.
In a single bound.
In a single bound.
But they're just small buildings. 8 explodes.
Hey, you like to see that.
16.
16? Wait, did you roll another 8?
No, but I have a +2.
Oh,
from,
yeah, because I'm the wilderness.
From Woods.
Oh, that's right. It's like, how did that not just explode again if that's a 16? Moving into that, you can tell that this is not, you don't see like, you do see some claw marks on the side around here. You can tell this is not just like it climbed up the rock face or anything like that. This is something that like intentionally jumped up and then started covering its tracks. Like it doesn't look like the claw marks go high enough up that it climbed out of this. But you can see some tampering and stuff in front that looks like somebody who started covering their tracks in the way they moved. And did so very efficiently. Like you can tell that they're covered, but you can't really pick up a trail of covered tracks here.
Well, Sheriff, it's covering its tracks.
Well, that's strange.
Oh. That's a smart wild child. I've never heard of a child raised in the wilderness covering their tracks. They're known to be animalistic.
Let's start here. We'll form a line and walk as a search.
You're kind of in like a narrow causeway here, so you'll have to get out of it to form a line to start searching.
Well, I mean, I think it didn't go out of the canyon, but it started covering its tracks here, so we might as well just head forward for now.
Okay. You're my tracker.
I assume that's the way it went, and if not, it doubled back.
Go ahead and I'll have everyone roll me notice.
Okay. Notice.
Luckily, I have a D4 in that.
Notice.
What are you looking for? D6.
6.
And then
Oh,
minus
here,
2 of
here.
the highest one. Oops, 6 explodes. Oh, 4. So,
Did about the same as me. In fact, you did identical to me.
4, 7.
Okay, what is everyone's
Well,
notice?
boss, that's a couple of 2s from this end of the table.
2's there, 5 there,
8.
8. And what do we have from the professor?
The professor rolled a 6.
6. Okay, so both the professor and Grimes see this coming.
Oh no!
See ya.
As you guys are kind of getting out, you're getting
See
to where
a,
you
see
can
a
see
gun
the
barrel
end of
sticking
the
out of a bush.
yeah, you can see the end of the canyon coming out, and there's like a moment where like both Grimes and the professor kind of like pause, and you guys both look up to see what looks like a pair on either side of this canyon of natives who have bow and arrows drawn, and then we're gonna need combat order. So let's get the deck of cards out. The classic. I'm not gonna say what they are. They aren't sponsoring us. Old Chicago. If you want to sponsor us, I'll tell the internet this is your cards. Wait, I just did. Damn. You win this time, Old Chicago.
The only out of all the decks of cards we had, I can see 3 of them at least. From
and
where
those
I'm
are all
sitting.
like actual casino playing cards.
Just none of them have jokers in them.
Yeah, they don't have jokers because they're casino playing cards. So we got to use the Texas Roadhouse, the Old Chicago World Beer Tour cards that I earned by drinking alcohol.
Hooray!
Yay.
You learn
Free
by
if you
being
buy
an adult.
enough beer over time. So I will draw for them. Not the best. Pass the deck around. Someone draw for Jerry.
Hey. Got a king.
Hey.
Clubs beats hearts.
He thinks there's a 7. I can tell it's that one because I can feel it. I'll just discard that for the moment.
Is it on the front or the back?
It's on the front.
Well, we can still keep it.
Yeah. I'm just moving it because we out of the deck now because we know what it is. My card is a queen. Jerry's card is a 6 of diamonds.
Okay. So, the way we're going to run this is if you noticed it, you're going to get tacked around. But because some of you noticed it, these guys aren't going to get the drop on you, which is very useful for you.
Well, that's nice.
Because basically you see the two of them like, and that so you're aware, but you're not going to get to act in this like first round of initiative.
What
Basically, why did I know you
range
don't?
What are we talking about here?
We're talking about. I mean, they're like 15, 20 feet above you.
Like medium range. I guess that is entirely dependent on the weapon, isn't it?
Yep.
As to whether or not that's medium range.
Mm-hmm. Say with you guys standing or sitting on your mounts, they're probably 15 feet away from you, if that's relevant for your stuff. So, let's go ahead and give.
Either one
I
of
should
these
have
is
everyone
going
draw
to
cards. It's just going to be. So you are a king, so you'll go first.
Nice.
You go before they do. You notice them, and they're definitely like. They don't seem like they're like getting ready to say, "Hey, stick them up." They look like they were quietly aiming to shoot and kill you guys.
Oh, that. My guns are over here.
So to attack, you should have a skill for that. Shooting.
Yeah, I have. Oh, it's right up.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I have 2 guns.
Okay.
You don't have the damage written out though.
I have a dick.
Lightning much to speed. It's either 2d6 or 2d6 plus 1.
You have like ambidextrous and double fisted or whatever, right?
Yeah.
You have
Yeah.
both of them. You're like an
That's
expert
fine.
dual wielder. You
Yeah.
don't get any of the debuffs for it.
We just didn't write down her. We wrote.
Because with those two, you don't get the multi-action penalty on it, and you don't get the offhand action. Sweet. That's very good. So it'll be a d6 and your shooting die, and you'll get to do it twice because you're firing with both
So
weapons.
your shooting is a D8. So it'll be that.
You said Colt Lightning?
Yeah.
That's 2d6.
Okay, please. And what's the magazine? It's a revolver. How many shots?
6, but it is technically a double action, so since we are...
We're doing, for those of you who know the rules well and know like the double tap rules and how that's changed, we're doing old double tap rules that everyone can double tap as long as their gun functionally can double tap, which gives you like a +1 to hit and a +1 to damage, but uses 2d6 ammunition instead. So you kind of, if you have a double action revolver, you can kind of fire wildly if you like. You'll use more ammo, but it'll be more likely to hit.
Can I aim at both of the natives?
Well, you have 2 guns. You can like aim 1 at 1. There's 4 total up above. There's 2 on each side.
Oh, okay.
So you can aim at one of them to start with your first hit, your first attack.
Okay. I guess I'll aim at one.
Okay. 5.
Need exposure Both of those explode.
Roll them both again.
6 and an 8.
And you get a 4 to hit it within the range of the gun, right?
6 explodes.
Within the first.
Within the first
range.
6 explodes.
Is that 18 so far? So roll even.
What?
21. Or 21.
Right? 18.
26.
24.
What's 18 plus 6? 21.
So 29?
29 will hit with. Oh, we're also. That's a difference. We run this differently.
We
do
yes.
massive damage, i.e.
We do run damage raises a little bit different.
We let them. Well, we let damage have a raise, which is different than the base.
It can, but normally it doesn't matter how many raises you get. You only roll one extra d6.
Oh, that's
but it can explode.
But it can
the way
explode.
we run it,
We do.
you roll an extra d6 for every
Each.
raise, but they can't explode.
Yep, that's correct. That's how we break the rules.
So you're gonna roll 2d6 that can explode,
And then 20. What was the total?
29.
29. So you have 25, which would be 4 by 6, so 66 that cannot explode.
We'll start with the ones that can't explode.
You are rolling fireball damage.
Yeah. Jam.
only the ones that can't explode. There's 2
Yeah.
more d6 that can't explode.
So add all those up, and then roll 2 more of them that can explode.
So we've got 4, 8.
We like to run it that way because it makes stuff like this happen, where you can have these like huge, big,
17.
powerful
Well, it just
damage.
feels more worthwhile to have a
raises.
high shooting die or a high fighting die in my mind.
Plus 6, so that's 23.
Dead. So you just gotta put you quick draw both of your revolvers, pull up one, boom, headshot on the second attack,
Alright, so
because you can do that.
he explodes.
Dear God.
So 12.
So that's a hit with only 2 raises. So it'll be 2 of those, and then 2 more. Only these first 2 will say can't explode.
So 10. Oh.
And, sure, I said that. So
You did say the first 2 can explode.
So go
yes.
ahead and roll into that one
10
again.
Plus
So 12,
12.
and then 2 more. These cannot explode.
12 plus another 9.
Damn. With that, so that's 12 plus, so 21.
Okay.
You see, go boom, boom, like this young bastard pulls out 2 guns, just kill. 2 of the 4 are immediately killed by this individual. There was a 6 for the professor. Professor, you are next.
I am next.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so I pull out my my Colt revolving rifle, and I will take a shot at one of the remaining 2 natives.
Go ahead and fire.
And a 4.
A 4 just hits.
Ooh.
So you'll get to just roll the normal damage on
And those do explode?
it. They do.
Okay. A 6.
6 damage. So their toughness is 5, so that doesn't do a wound but shakes them.
Mhm.
Right? So you fire this rifle up in the air, and it narrowly misses one of them, but they have an arrow ready, and they have to kind of duck down, and the arrow goes back, is no longer drawn, and seems to it's shaking them.
I do say you natives don't need to be doing this. This-
They don't seem.
This ain't worth the trouble. You all are gonna die here.
Now you're starting to sound like a Red Dead NPC.
Sure.
Oh,
Go ahead and give me a riding skill check there, Grimes.
Oh no. Oh no, not Spanky.
As you quick draw all these, and Spanky kind of eyes go a little wide and starts getting pretty frantic looking. Your scaredy cat horse,
Minus
Spanky.
2.
I love Spanky, but he is not a good horse. I will never replace him.
Do you have any ranks in this? Okay, so we'll get a -2.
That's all.
2.
Yep, 2.
2. So your horse bolts with you on the top of it. So he kind of squeezes in between them and he starts running down this
And then I'm
canyon.
just like,
And you're like, you can't even really grab hold of the reins because you have a rifle or a
gun in
pistol
either
in both
hand.
your hand. And so you kill two and then you go ride with both guns in the air off into the sunset as your horse books it down this canyon.
God damn it, baby!
And then the two remaining natives on the top. The first one, it's a, what's the skill?
Spirit.
Spirit.
He's got spirit. Yes, he does.
He's got spirit. Hopefully he does. It's a 5 on the spirit check, so that means he's no longer shaken, but he doesn't get an action. Actually, get a raise. The other one is going to fire his bow and arrow. He'll fire at the professor because the professor is the only one who's shot so far. That is going to be a hit, but no raise. And he will take.
Apart from that, there feller hauling ass down the trail.
What's your toughness there, Professor?
4.
4. So this arrow slides right past you. You will be shaken, but you won't take any wounds there.
Okay.
And after that, we're going to draw a new round of initiative. Now we'll toss your cards in.
Pile in.
In a dramatic reversal, this time we'll draw Jerry's card first.
It's
It's a
that
king.
one's hard.
good for Jerry.
Queen.
Go shop.
Wow.
What they did, they hooked you guys up and gave me a 4.
It's all face
A
cards
tree.
all the time. A tree.
Oh, what is this? There's a
Face card, face card, face card.
Yes.
3.
Jesus Christ.
All right. So, top of the initiative, and you choose the king. Jerry,
The professor.
Professor.
All right.
You're up
I
first.
will
Go and roll.
to be
Professor
shaken.
Quick.
That's a spirit roll.
Yep, make a spirit roll for us. What's your spirit, Professor? Out of curiosity.
The D4.
That seems about right.
He got spirit. No, he don't.
That boy's spirit is a joke.
3.
3. You are still shaken. You do not get your turn. Next, there's a queen out there, right?
We both got queens.
So
Whoever's got the higher.
you technically with
The
Bard's
queen.
strength.
It's alphabetically, right?
You can run it either way. We've just always done alphabetically.
Yeah. So hard speaks. What do you got? Spades.
Yeah.
What you doing there? He who
Nothing.
does not shoot. You duck down on your horse. Don't want to get got by them.
Well, he's not a man.
I'm not really shaky. Like, character-wise, I'm not scared.
You seem like
I'm just like, I'm kind of sitting there like, Shane's going down.
darn shame. All right, on to Ed.
I will also draw a pair of handguns. But I am going to take advantage of double tap rules.
Okay. So first one, you don't have ambidextrous
So this is at a total of -1.
for the first one and -3 for the second. Right? You still
No,
have
I
the-
do have ambidextrous.
You do have ambidextrous. You just
Yeah.
don't have the other one. The dual one.
Yeah. So or two-gun kid or whatever it's called.
So you have the multi-action penalty, but not the
Yes.
offhand penalty.
And like from the +1 from double tap,
Double
it's at a
minus.
-1.
Okay.
10 explodes. 12 to hit on that first
12 will
attack.
hit with 2 raises.
Roll raises first.
Okay.
That's 11 extra damage.
Okay. If only those could explode. Then.
11, 12, 6 brings it to 18, 20, 21.
21. Another
No,
dead.
22 because
Those
the
rolls
revolver's a 2d6 +1 and then the +1 from double action.
Okay. One dead. Second hit.
Take a shot of the other one. I make up for inaccuracy with
With the
just
volume.
through firepower.
Man, lots of explosions today.
7
You're doing good.
on that one, which is no raise.
No raise but here.
10 to 14.
14. That'll be enough. So you again two
Bang,
bang bang. The other two drop dead, and one comes kind of tumbling down into the.
Except instead of drawing 2 pistols and firing 1 shot at each, I draw 2 pistols and just blast.
And we'll go ahead and pop out of initiative after that.
Well, damn.
Turns out these folks you made your posse out of are
A bunch of gunslingers.
barely capable.
Yeah, I totally heard that as barely capable, which I think is probably much more
Probably
accurate.
right.
I will reload
Probably accurate.
both of my revolvers
Okay.
while we're out of combat.
Well, that's just how you delegate. Is you don't have to fire a shot.
Who had the drop on who there?
Yeah, no kidding.
They fell right into our trap.
Somebody call an ambulance, but not for
But
me.
not for me.
Alright.
Well, a shame these native failures had died.
Darn shame. And I think as you guys can get back on the trail there, trying to follow, to at least continue down this canyon. Eventually, your horse stops, and you're going to be able to catch up to you. And I think that's where we'll pause this session.
Alright.
I think that's a decent spot, a decent ending point for this one. And good job. First combat.
Yeah.
Survived.
Flying colors.
Flying colors.
Yeah.
2 guns. 2 gun kid. 2 gun other kid. Pretty damn good.
Yeah.
Keep going, keep game.
We will see you in the next one. Bye, everybody.